Good morning. Welcome back to River Mountain Homestead. We had a little bit of a rainy day yesterday, and I got a few little things taken care of, but not enough to make a video out of it. It is with a sad heart this morning that I come to you to tell you I had to officially file a missing persons report for Franny. I do not have a clue what happened to her. Today is the second, maybe third. Today is the third day. She was missing as of Monday, and no sign. I've looked and looked and looked and looked. I'm 100% sure it wasn't Eve. If it was Eve, there would have been some kind of feather evidence somewhere, and I know 100% sure it wasn't Miss B. So I don't know if a hawk maybe snatched her, or a neighbor wandering dog, or what. You know, I'm outside quite a bit most of the day, and I never heard any ruckus. I've looked in their normal areas where they frequent all around the property, and I've not found any sign of any feathers. So I don't know, but I filed the missing persons report with Floki and with Miss B. They're supposed to be on the lookout. That is our first chicken loss here. We've had these ladies, since the end of last summer, last fall, somewhere in there. I don't even know. Geez, I'd have to look back. Has it been that long? Wow. I don't know. But it is Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Everybody's mourning over there. And I'm going to lay these batter boards out today. I did get my delivery in yesterday. We've got all our pipe and wire for the concrete. I've got some 6x6s somewhere back there. I don't know where. Quite the experience with the delivery driver yesterday from Lowe's. They had a little incident on the way here, and on a sharp curve their load shifted, and a large pallet full of landscape stone that they had on pushed most of my concrete off the truck. So this poor driver had to stop on the side of the road trying to hump these 80-pound bags back up on the truck. That's, you know, the bed of the truck's 5 or 6 foot off the ground. So a bunch of those bags were ripped. No big deal. They give me credit for them, and I can utilize most of it. I've got several bags left over here with my masonry stuff anyway, so I should be okay on all those. Yeah. So we did a lot of restacking of some stones and stuff before they got out of here and got back on their trip. Yeah, I'm just ready to get this shop going. Shop. It's not a house. It's a shop. But I think I'm going to spend one more morning here making another lap for anything I might have missed on Franny. I'm going to make sure to check and look up in the trees and everything else and see if maybe she's stuck up in a tree somewhere. I don't know. Kind of miss my little Franny. She was kind of one of my favorites, and she was a little sweet soul. Betty's over there on top of the doghouse. And kind of missing Franny. Kind of sad about it. Probably shouldn't be sad about a chicken, but it is what it is, right? So before I get started, I'm going to make another lap and do another Franny check. And then we'll have to get started. These two had to help with the search. Is that your favorite water bowl, Miss B? So upon further search around the property, again, still no signs of Miss Franny. No idea what happened to her. I'm going to stay hopeful and think that maybe she just went broody somewhere. And since those other 2 nesting boxes were already full up there, maybe she's hiding out somewhere and went broody. I don't know. I'm going to drop these temporary batter boards out here real quick so I can run some string, just so that I can mark where all my holes will go. I'll start digging on those here in a little bit. I'm going to get this plumbing, what pieces I can put together. That way they're ready to go in the ground once the trench is dug. I've got the copper line for the propane I need to get flared. Yeah, several little things like that. So let's get some batter boards in the ground. Alright, so these batter boards, if you want to call them that, are just merely string holders. They're not going to be for grade or anything like that. It's just going to be to hold my lines. Basically to establish the back side of the 6x6s. This building being 32 by 32. These 2x12s and these 2x4s that I've got are none the same, so they vary from 1.25 to 1.5 wide in the rough cut form. So these 6x6s will be inset about 1.25 on every side off of that 32 foot. So I'm actually looking for 32 9.5 or 31 9.5, I'm sorry, for my outside to outside dimension. That way my trusses sit truly on the 32, since they'll be flush with no overhang. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes I know what I'm talking about in my mind, it just doesn't come out of my mouth like that. So I'm just gonna set these screws to where my string lines up on the outside of these posts, where I set them square the other day, and then I can get those posts out of the way, which will be where a hole needs to be dug. But then I can run off of this string where they intersect as my corners. Yeah, you'll see. Now I'm just going down through here with my regular tape and dropping 8 foot to center on every one of these, and just taking the top inch or so of soil out and keeping it in line with the string. That way I'll know where each hole goes. I went ahead and double checked everything on the corner without the T-post, and everything is good on it. It's actually like 1/8 of an inch out, but these holes are going to be big enough that we're going to allow for movement and square with the post. Alright, and just like that, all the holes are laid out and started. Some of them are about 1 inch deep, some of them are 2 or 3 inches deep, but I know where they're at now and I know where they need to be. And of course I'll broaden those out. I'll probably dig them out to about 9, 10 inches, something like that, for these 5.5 by 5.5 is what they are. Oh, and that'll give me plenty of wiggle room, and then I'll set my corners up and all that with string, and yeah, we'll get into that later, yada yada. But at least that's initiated. Anybody else feel like I've been procrastinating on starting on those holes? Because I definitely have. Still not looking forward to digging them either, but between the next couple of days, it's got to get done. I'm going to stop and take a break and shift gears and start putting a little bit of plumbing sections together. And I'm not a plumber. Let's make that perfectly clear right now. I am not a plumber. I don't have any ambitions to be a plumber. And all I know is that poop runs downhill, literally. That may be a little too vulgar for some of y'all, but that's the case. You need at least, I think it's a 1/4 inch of fall over every foot. I'll probably do more like 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of fall. So wherever you're starting at with your drain, it just needs to go downhill. It's that simple. And the water, just got to get it from A to B. You just got to figure out what connections you need to do that with. Electrical, that's a whole nother ball game, but same thing really. You just got to get it from A to B. But I'm sure my inspector will probably pass it out here. What do you think? It's good? Okay, yeah, the inspector said it's good. So, the joys of living out in the boonies. Ain't nobody looking at nothing I'm doing out here. I'm just rambling. Always rambling. It's getting warm though. Thinking I might have to ditch these overalls and go shorts, especially if I'm going to be digging. Whew. It may even be lunchtime. I don't know. Just wanted to show y'all real quick how cute these little guys are. Their fuzzy little feet. Yeah. How are you doing? You got a buddy in there I can grab? And partner in crime. Alright, now that it's nice and warm out here, I'm going to start with this propane copper line here. This 60 foot a half inch copper. And I'm just going to build a shutoff valve on one end. All I've got to do for the other end is just stub it up where I want my propane tank to be. And then when I have them come set that tank and fill the tank up, they'll tap into the end that's sticking up out of the ground. And then I'll have a shutoff valve plumbed up already inside. And then I'll just have to run a splitter off of this, one to the stove, one to the hot water heater. Propane will be easy. I'll go ahead and bury this in the concrete coming up in the wall right there, probably either by the stove or maybe one of them. Probably come up by the stove since there's not a whole lot else right there, instead of dealing with that plumbing wall. And then I can just come around that other side with it. But pretty simple for me. Point A to point B, right? Hope that wind ain't messing with you guys too bad. Joint compound. Like always, goop it on there. Come up this bottom side. I did not have a lot of selection of fittings and pieces, believe it or not. So I got what I had to. Come on. I like to take everything right to the point of breaking and then stopping. Put this flare nut on the back side of the flare. Sandwich this in with the flare on the pipe. And I'll have this connected on one end, and then I'll just take one of these Lowe's bags and tie off the end of it to keep dirt and stuff out of it. Got my little handy dandy flaring rig here. And we're just gonna flare the end of that pipe right there. Pretty simple. Would y'all like to see that if I get you a little closer? Well, just so I don't leave you out on my mistakes, I assumed, that's where I failed, obviously. I assumed on half-inch copper pipe, one would want to buy half-inch fittings, but apparently I was wrong. So I'm guessing on half-inch pipe, you want to run 5/8 fittings because half-inch doesn't fit on half-inch. So there's my fail of the day. This pipe is half-inch ID, which is the inside diameter, and it is 5/8 OD, outside diameter. So I will get some 5/8 flare nuts and stuff so that I can put that on my half-inch pipe. So fail number one for plumbing. Yay. As I said, I am not a plumber. I do not aspire to be a plumber. I do not want to be a plumber. It is just something that is necessary that has to be done, so you just have to do what you gotta do. And I will just add that to the list of things to acquire on Friday. That I have a laundry list growing already. I guess I could go ahead and flare this while I got it out though. Wrong, don't do that. Because you don't have your flare nut on there. Biggest mistake in the world of ever flaring pipe is forgetting to put your piece on there. So we'll wait. Alright, did a little behind the scenes work here, and what I've kind of got going on is something I'm going to call controlled chaos. And this is basically going to be the setup inside my main plumbing wall. It's going to start with a cap. There'll be a 3-inch section of pipe. Actually grabbed a 2-inch 90 and not a 45, so that got added to the list on this guy. And this will come up and feed the wash machine. This will be the drain that comes up in the wall for the wash machine. Another piece of pipe that's going to stub over. This will be the bathroom sink on the opposite side of the wall. And this will come up and come in and then hit the P-trap and everything on the bathroom sink. And beside the sink is the toilet. It will run in, and then from here it'll have a little section that runs out into the floor, and that's where your toilet will sit, about 12.5 inches off of your finished wall. I still am lacking a piece there. It's on the list. And then we continue on down the road here, and just on the other side, and this will be the drain for the shower. And the shower drain will come up, it'll swing. I'll be able to, with the sanitary tee here, turn the direction of it, as well as the P-trap that'll go on it that I still got to grab. And then I can run it out, and I've got to run and get a measurement on that tub shower combo that I've got to figure out exactly how far off that end wall I need to be both directions. And then that will plumb up level with the toilet. Basically actually be just a little bit off, but pretty close to it. But I'll just run a pipe up, and then I can cut the pipe off and fit everything else I need on above the concrete. Just past that, it will actually turn right there before it gets to the end wall, and we'll swing around and pick up the kitchen sink. Pretty simple there, just to drop down. All of these vents will more or less be tied together into one vent system. I'll probably run a 3-inch vent out the roof, and they'll all run collectively because they're all so close together. No, that's probably not code for any of my plumbers. It's going to tell me that's not code, but that's fine. If I get a little gurgle, it's okay. It's just a shop. It's just a shop. But then I've got everything laid out over here. Basically just trying to ensure I have all the pieces that I need. That wall is actually going to be 15 foot from the end wall, and it falls just shy of this other. Set you down here gently, wherever I'm at here, just shy of this other post that will come up. There is my turn in the wall. I'll tie into the pipe. Kitchen sink is actually right about that joint right there is where it's going to stub up. It'll be up close to the wall. The water line will also come in with this drain line, and it'll come up in this wall. Instead of doing a 2x6 wall, I'm probably going to do a double 2x4 wall here and make this 7 inches wide. I'm actually going to have the dryer vent running in this wall too, which is 4 inches, so that's going to take up a big chunk. I want to make sure I got enough meat left on those 2x to hold this wall up with some drywall and stuff. It won't be structural at all, but it just needs to hold the drywall up. Yeah, controlled chaos, right? That's absolutely going to be a kind of a nuts kind of wall, but that's all right. It'll all be collectively together. So my water line will come in here, and my propane line will actually come in and pop up here. There's a tiny little flat spot just off the end of the rock over there where I'll swerve off and dig another trench, and that's where the propane tank will be. yeah. And then I've got my pipe just laid out enough. I made sure that I had enough couplers. And then I've got a Y down here. And this is all 3-inch running out here. And then it switches back over to 4-inch. This is 4-inch, it's buried. That's the line there for the travel trailer. And it's buried here and ties and runs around and ties into the septic tank there. This is roughly about where that pipe is. I'll dig close to it and then I'll find it with the shovel and finish digging down around it with a shovel. And then we'll make that connection and run it up. Propane tank is actually going to sit somewhere in this neighborhood right in here. And I'll just run that line off of this line and run that copper in with that. And then the water line is actually going to come from just over here and come around and swoop in. Because I want to tie in before I get to that shutoff valve. So I don't have to put another shutoff valve, and I don't want this house line to be active to the weather with water in it. That's why I put that shutoff valve there anyway, was to make sure I had an individual for the house. So yeah, my plumbing list has grew. I think I'm going to glue what I can together over there. I've got my measurements as far down as to the shower, so I can put all that together and have it all stubbed up. And then when I dig the trench for all that, set it in and it's ready to go. Yeah, I hate plumbing, but it's just part of it, especially if you'd like to have indoor plumbing. And I'm sure Miss Angela will definitely appreciate that. But yes, that is my current plan and dilemma of what I've got going on. No matter how hard I tried not to make any mistakes and thought every single piece through, you'll notice anything? I managed to turn that drain out instead of down in. So I can cut this guy off right here, flip it over, glue it back on this side, and then on that side is where I'll make my turn. Is what it is. Well, I got 4 of them where they need to be. So 25% of the way is not bad. Whew, that's rough. I got a 5th one over here, but it's that one I started with. It's about 14 inches and it is solid rock. I can't even touch it with that rock bar. Whew. Just getting powder and dust off of it. So I'll have to hit it with a drill and a big auger bit, masonry auger bit, and see if I can't chew through it. But once I get to that point, I want to have the rest of them dug. That way I can just go through and drill the ones I got to drill. I may rest and try to do one or two more, but I doubt it. I'm pretty tired. It's been a day. And it's hot. It's very hot. Tomorrow's Thursday. The only thing on my agenda tomorrow is to dig holes and contemplating a plumbing run at Lowe's in the morning to knock out the rest of that list. That way, if I do come up with anything else after tomorrow that I need, I can get it on Friday. And that's just how plumbing works with me. You know, it'd be nice if I had a plumbing truck with all the little fittings and stuff I need, but I don't. And when you try to get every little piece and map it all out, you get close, but it seems like you always end up grabbing a wrong piece or something's in the wrong box, or it's always some kind of problem. And when it's a 40-minute drive to Lowe's, 45 minutes, you try to make your trip worth it. Because I could always stop and get a snow cone tomorrow. But I think that's all I've got for today. I've got a few chores to do with the chickens over here. Get them some fresh water and stuff again today. And call it good. So, thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to share us on social media. That helps us more than anything. And we will catch you guys on the next one.